Welcome, viewers, to another edition of iOS X Online. I'm Dave Whitby, and
I'm Scott Harrell.
We search the web to find the latest tips and tricks for iOS and OS X,
or 10,
to make your computing experience more enjoyable,
and to get the most out of your Mac and your iOS devices together.
Our mission is to share things we find that are useful and productive,
or entertaining and amusing.
Hey Scott, it's February 2014 now. Anything special about this month?
I mean, besides Black History Month, it's Steve Jobs' birthday.
In honor of that, we have a little cartoon for you.
Hi, Bill Gates. Guess where I'm calling you from? And that's the iCloud.
Of course. Very cute.
We're making an assumption that he's in heaven.
Big assumption, but probably right. All right, what have we got?
Wherever you are, Steve, thank you.
Thank you. Many times over. What we have for you this month, first website talks about best apps for new Mac owners.
This site is called imore.com. Who's the author?
This article, it's Allison Kazmucha.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Allison.
And she's got some great recommendations. First here is an alternative browser to Safari called Chrome.
By Google.
Yeah, I have wavering feelings about some of Google products, but this is an excellent one.
I love Chrome. I use that just as much as Safari. I kind of bounce between the two.
Mm-hmm. And Firefox on occasion as well. Second thing they recommend is Skype. Can't say enough about this for collaborating with associates, saving money on long-distance telephone calls. I talk to my son in Israel once a week over Skype. Or I can even use Apple's FaceTime.
Yeah, Dave, you don't even have a landline, and you live in an area where the cell coverage is pretty spotty, so sometimes you'll call me from Skype. That's a great solution.
Absolutely, and it's much clearer than my cell phone. Okay, next item, Dropbox.
Yay.
Probably the number one application I recommend to new and old users for sharing and collaborating with other people, especially when you want to send a file that's bigger than you can include as an attachment in email. And the second feature that I think is almost of equal value is that this means that you have your most valuable things stored in the cloud, off-site, so that eventual act of God occurs and your machine is destroyed or your house burns down, you can still get to your valuable information.
Now, if you are a Mac user, you should, of course, be using Time Machine for backups.
Right.
But Dropbox is great as an additional way of securing data and also giving you access wherever you are to key data. So sign up for Dropbox. You get 2 gigabytes free.
Mm-hmm. How many gigabytes do you have, Scott?
Well, I've got 9.9.
How did you get that?
By referrals.
Oh.
I share the concept of Dropbox with people on my email list, and when they sign up, I get some additional storage space.
Well, you got me beat. I only have about 6 gigs of referrals.
But you also have how much?
Oh, I have a paid account of 100 gigs because of the amount of sharing and the size of some of the files I have to schlep back and forth.
Well, that's a pretty good deal.
It's about $8 or $9 a month. Not the cheapest, and there are a lot of competitors now, but it certainly is the most evolved and recommended of the cloud storage services. Next application they recommend, Fantastical. What do you have to say about that, Scott?
Well, I installed it. I think it's great because it's a natural language function.
Right.
And it makes it more friendly to start using a calendar for more things that you do during your day.
Right.
Better planning.
The time saving for me is if I say lunch with Scott at noon tomorrow, it knows to automatically set the start time at 12 and the end time at 1. Well, don't have to type it in.
That's a fast lunch.
It is. We should extend that 2 hours.
Does it have a feature where it tells you automatically that you're buying lunch?
Not yet, and I hope it never does, unless it's your name that pops up. All right, the next app is Evernote. Do we use this?
We do.
And what do we use it for?
Well, we collaborate, and we can develop projects together, and one of the great features is it's multi-platform. So
syncs with everything?
Well, I don't know about everything, but it syncs with my desktop and my iOS devices.
Next website. Here's a plugin for Apple Mail called Send Later. which allows you to set up in advance a future time that an email you've developed should go out. When might you use this, Scott?
Well, what came to mind was like sending birthday announcements.
Great idea, because I forget that quite often, and this way it's automatically timed for you in advance. You're never going to miss that announcement that you might need to send.
Plus, if you have emails that you send out on a regular basis, you can schedule those,
Good point.
which we're going to be doing soon.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's €9 for the plugin, so it might be of value to you. Check it out.
How much is that in dollars? That's about $10, right?
$10 or $12, yeah. Apple also, this article talked about a brilliant cure for spam and email that Apple is coming out with. And how does it work? Since spam is such a problem, and here's the statistic, this is 88% of all email traffic has been spam. The server apparently provides you with new email addresses on the fly, disposable email addresses that are given out instead of your main email. But the disposable addresses are linked to your main account. So the email sent to it would appear in your main account without any extra steps. Any replies you send would show up as having come from a disposable account.
So it's like a cloaking device, kind of.
It looks pretty nice, and it sounds like it might work. So we'll have to see if and when we get more announcements from Apple on it. All right, let's jump over to iOS. This article from overbidme.com has 19 amazing tricks for the iPhone and iPad user and things that we should know. Here's a tip. How do you charge your mobile device as quickly as possible?
I'm guessing you switch to airplane mode.
Yeah, that turns off Wi-Fi, turns off Bluetooth, all the things that normally would slow down the recharging of your mobile device. A great suggestion, and it definitely will speed things up.
And you know what else I use that for? At night, I don't want to be bugged with SMS messages coming in. My phone's in the bedroom.
Good point.
Or calls.
There are ways you can customize what things can come across the phone at night, but this is definitely a way to make sure that nothing wakes you up. All right, here's a tip that I thought was kind of interesting. Let's say you have a Wi-Fi only enabled mobile device, iPad in particular, and you need to travel somewhere, but when you get to your destination or on the way to your destination, you need to look at that map and expand it and look for details. If it's Wi-Fi only, you're not going to be able to get an update in the field. It turns out Google Maps has a solution for that, and it's the following. And what we're going to do is jump over here to a picture of my iPad, which is Wi-Fi only. And
Now, is that live?
yeah, this is a projection, and we're able to do this through a product called Reflector, which is available, and not through the App Store, but I think it's at www.reflectorapp.com. And how much does it cost, Scott?
It is $12.99, I believe.
Well worth it, especially for helping people remotely with their iOS device. Let's go to Google Maps, which is right here. And if you type, once you've plotted your route and you type OK Maps, watch what happens. It's caching that map on your mobile device so that when you're out of internet range with Wi-Fi only, you can still zoom in on it, just like we're doing here with the Wi-Fi
Nice.
connection, and fine-tune the your route and alternatives that you might want to take. Okay.
And that could be useful just in the sense that even if you had internet access, it'd be less distracting.
Correct.
Now tell me, Dave, you just showed Google Maps. Does Apple Maps have this feature where you can save the information offline?
Yes, it does, not to be outdone by Google Maps. And I'm going to pull up Apple Maps right now. Here is a route I've already pre-plotted.
Oh, that's where you're taking me to lunch, right?
That's the Palm Restaurant. We'll talk about who picks up the tab later. And the icon up here at the top allows you to not only email and messages and AirDrop, but look, you can send the map to any of your mobile devices. Let's try that now. We're going to send this map. Whoosh, off it goes. And notice, your mobile device responds by directions to the Palm Restaurant. Let's click on it. Up comes the map. 3D it. Expand it. And remember, this can all be done without a connection to the internet because it is cached. So Apple Maps has the same ability to do it as Google does.
Well, that's great because a lot of times I'll plan my routes when I'm at home with my desktop, but I actually want to have the destination show up on my iPhone. So
exactly, or your iPad.
Great feature.
All right, continuing in the iOS. Here are some things that people do that are probably doing incorrectly. This article talks about people that never turn their phone off. You should be turning your phone off periodically, or your battery will die faster than it should.
Tisk, tisk.
Leaving the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on all the time? No. That's when airplane mode comes in handy. That'll completely shut those off. Obviously, this one, don't leave it outside in extreme weather. We're blessed in Southern California to have a minimal amount of extreme weather. Keeping it plugged in overnight. Don't do it. Non-Apple chargers. You've heard of the horror stories of non-authorized chargers in China causing a meltdown of the mobile device. Don't want to do it. Not cleaning it. iPhones are disgusting. So many germs on them. So please, use a solvent-free cloth to clean your iPhone.
It actually says toilet seats and pet food contains fewer germs
than your iPhone. All right. They particularly don't like filming in portrait mode. Landscape only.
Oh, yeah, that's one of my pet peeves too.
Make sure you've always got a passcode to protect yourself. And probably the most important one is don't walk around with your iPhone in your hand. Well, 40% of robberies in major cities now involve mobile devices. And the last site that we want to share with you is non-Apple, but tech-related gadgets, because we are geeks. Technology Blog had this collection of 28 gadgets that won't sit down collecting dust because they're actually usable. Here is the cutest little iPhone stand ever, as long as you have the older version with a 30-pin connector.
So there's a reason to keep your iPhone for.
And when you're out and about and you need a little nip, maybe at the opera.
Yes.
An iPhone case that doubles as an iFlask for your favorite drink. Here's my favorite. USB mini fridge. One cold can of cola, powered by your computer, sitting by your keyboard, just waiting to refresh you at any time.
Here's my favorite. That's not designed for airports.
I think security would have something to say about your case. This one I thought was pure genius. Ceramic mug with a external section for crackers and soup.
You could have chips and dip.
Chips and dip, or something a little more healthy with some vegetables.
Carrot sticks.
Carrot sticks and a dip, right. The last item I wanted to take a look at here is this ultimate car swivel tray for the friend who can't stop or won't stop eating fast food in the car. Brilliant.
So there's another reason to hate BMW drivers, right?
Right, because that looks like a BMW. It is a BMW.
We're going to sign off with another cartoon in honor of our friend Steve Jobs.
Okay.
Moses meets Steve. He's going to upgrade your tablets.
And with that, we'll see you next episode.
All
Make
right.
sure you subscribe, thumbs up, and check the links down below this video.
We love your feedback too.
Right. Take care. Goodbye.